amount of output, but the condition is that the price remains the same. So this is how you have to understand each and every feature, right? The meaning of the feature and most important its implication. Question will be directly based on the implications. Second is homogeneous goods. See again, remember the parameters. First we studied the number of buyer and sellers. Second is the type of product or the type of commodity. So here the sellers are selling homogeneous goods. Homogeneous means identical in all respects. All the characteristics of the product are same. For example, we all use a pen. They are all close substitutes of one another. But the same model of a pen, written the same words, that will be a perfect substitute, absolutely identical. Or you can simply say that they should be alike in shape, size, color, odor, any other characteristic. They should be alike. You can't even differentiate. Like you can call them as identical twins. You cannot even differentiate that which product was given to you first and which was given to you second. See what happens due to the homogeneous or one important thing, we call them as perfect substitutes. They can also be called as perfect substitutes. Like if you have two models of the same pen, right? Then you have the perfect substitute, absolutely identical, but others are all close substitutes. So what happens, because the seller is offering a homogeneous product at a same price, the implication or the result is that buyer is indifferent among sellers. Remember this word indifferent, we have already done it in the consumer equilibrium. Indifferent means doesn't differentiate between the sellers. Or you can in simple words say that the buyer can buy from any seller. Right, so if you are asked this particular explanation or implication of this feature, first you will write what are homogeneous goods, they are perfect substitutes, or you can or they are identical in shape, size, color, odor, etc. And the implication, the result is that the buyer is indifferent among the sellers because he gets the same product from all the sellers. So he and at the same price. So he can buy from any seller. Then third is perfect knowledge. Or third we can do first free entry and exit. Free entry and exit means that any new firm can enter the market at any point of time. Similarly, an existing firm can withdraw from the market at any point of time. There is no restriction on entry and exit. Now, the implication of this feature is only normal profit in the long run. We already know the meaning of normal profit. It means when TR is equal to TC, or mathematically the profit is 0, right? But you know that it already contains the profit of the entrepreneur. When we were doing cost, we had already seen that the total cost already includes the profit of the entrepreneur. So in economics, normal profit is always when total revenue is equal to total cost or profit is equal to 0. Why does this happen? See, whenever suppose there is some profit in the short run, any supernormal profit where TR is more than TC, what happens? New firms enter. Right? When the new firms will enter, then supply will rise, and you know when supply rises, price starts falling. So prices start falling, and this profit is again neutralized, or you can say it again becomes 0. So when you are explaining, you have to mention that if there is any profit in the short run, some few new firms will enter the market due to free entry and exit. which will lead to rise in the supply of the product in the market and fall in the prices, which again neutralizes the profit to zero. Similarly, if there is any loss in the short run, some firms will leave the market, which will lead to decline in supply, leading to rise in price, and again the loss being neutralized to zero. Right? This is the whole thing that you have to explain if you are asked the implication of the third feature, that is free entry and exit. All these words to be mentioned, right? First the meaning of normal profit, then you will explain that if there is any profit in the short run, new firms enter, supply rises, prices fall, profit neutralizes to zero, and vice versa for the loss. Then the next feature is perfect knowledge. See, perfect knowledge means that you know each and every aspect about the particular commodity. Perfect knowledge cannot be found in the practical life, like you may not have, or rather you will not have any perfect knowledge regarding any product which you are using. You can think over it and realize that you use a refrigerator, a television, a mobile phone, but do you have perfect knowledge about it? You do not have. How it has been made, what technique has been used, what type of components have been used, right? Or what is the cost of production of that commodity. But here in the perfect competition, there is perfect knowledge with the buyer as well as with the seller. See, buyer has the complete knowledge regarding the product market. Product market is the market where products are being sold, final goods are being sold. And seller has the complete knowledge regarding the factor market. Factor market means where the factors of production are being bought and sold, because seller needs to go to the factor market while the buyer needs to go to the product market. So when the buyer has complete knowledge about the characteristics of the product, about the price of the product, the implication is that no seller can charge a higher price. Okay, so here we will have two implications, one from the point of view of the buyer and one from the point of view of the seller. From the point of view of the buyer, no seller can charge a higher price for him, or you can say no buyer is willing to give a higher price for the commodity. From the point of view of the seller, we can understand it on the basis of the term known as competitive advantage. Okay, it is a simple term to understand. Competitive advantage is simply advantage of one firm over the other. Like for example, if you talk about say Reliance launched its milk, and similarly a local brand say Uttaranchal Milk launched its milk in the market. So without having any much knowledge about the market, I can say that it will be easier for the Reliance company to sell its milk as compared to the other company, that is the Uttaranchal Milk, because the Reliance has a huge amount of goodwill, or you can say it is a brand name already established, such a big brand name. It has huge capital with it, huge amount of money, it can advertise. So, but this is a new firm. Okay, it doesn't have this much of resources, right? So this is the advantage of Reliance over the Uttaranchal Milk. This is known as competitive advantage. So in perfect competition, the perfect knowledge of the seller implies that no seller has competitive advantage over others. The implication is that no firm has competitive edge over the other, or you can call it as competitive advantage. So if this particular feature is asked, the implication is asked, you explain it from the point of view of the buyer as well as from the point of view of the seller. Okay, then next feature is independent decision making. It simply implies independent decision making, that firm is not depending on the other firm to take any decision, or you can say decision of one firm will not affect the other firms. It implies that the firm can take the decisions regarding the output and production on its own. Remember, production, not the price. Okay, price is decided by the industry. Except the price, all the decision can be taken by the firm, right? Entry, exit, everything. Firm is having all the rights to take the decision, and decision of one firm will not affect the other firm due to huge number of firms. Then next feature is perfect mobility among factors. This is a sort of assumptions because practically it is not true. Okay, factors we understand, we are talking about the factors of production. We have to first understand the meaning of these two terms, perfect and mobility. Mobility, you can simply understand movement, ability to move, or you can say shift. Though in demand and supply, movement and shift are different words, but obviously they mean the same. Moving from one place to another, or shifting from one place to another. And perfect means without